Please share your testimony on getting baptized. How does being a Christian shape your life? Did you run into some challenge while you're in a so-called relatively liberal Ivy League environment?
So I would say I never faced any challenge at all. There seems to be some kind of impression from some people that I've talked to back home where they feel like I wouldn't be accepted for being Christian or something at school. That has never been the case. People at Cornell and just in general at colleges are just very open-minded and accepting. I've never had any problems at all. There are many different religious communities on campus that have school support. I actually joined a choir there that only sings hymns, only performs in churches, and just had a great time. Everyone was very supportive, and a lot of my friends who weren't Christian came by to support me anyway because they appreciate the work that we do. So I always felt very accepted, and I would recommend to kids here to not be afraid that they're not going to be accepted if they go abroad. Not abroad, if they go abroad, but also if they go outside of their home community to another place. You shouldn't fear that you'll be ostracized, and if you are, you're hanging around the wrong people, because the vast majority of people have been great and are just very kind and accepting.
So how did you get baptized? What made you to get baptized?
Yeah, so I got baptized, I think it was after my freshman year of college. I don't remember. It was somewhat recently. I just felt like it was time. I mean, when I left high school, I felt like I wasn't really ready yet. Like, I felt like I hadn't really seen the world yet. I hadn't really become an adult. But after like a few years of college, I was like, I feel like I'm at the place where I've, seen the Christian community at Cornell. I've been really struck by, how gracious they are. And I want to be part of that community fully.
Oh,
and
good.
So I returned home.
So were you part of the other Christian ministry in addition to this choir?
Yeah, so I joined a Bible study group there, and it was Bible study and volunteer work pretty much. But there are lots of different Christian groups, like so many. Couldn't keep track of them. But this is the one that I happened to join.
That's very good. Yeah.
Could I ask Ali a question?
Yes, please.
Yeah, Ali. People who get baptized in college is rather for a pastor. Is rather an exception than a rule. A lot of the Asian kids, they would get baptized in high school, even middle school, in their own church. And yet later on, when they go to college, they drift away from their faith. And so your story is very different. You conscientiously made the decisions in college, and what can you explain a little bit more? That what led you to? What I'm trying to say is, while other people drift away from faith, and yet you found your faith. That's very different.
Yeah, I think it was important for me to be able to make my own choice. I think a lot of kids, especially in the Asian community, are just sort of brought to church, and that just becomes their life when they're at school, or like when they're a child, and then when they go off to college, they're like in a whole new world, in a different place, and it's just scary to make that transition and still feel rooted in your faith. But for me, I left Plano. I went to school, and that, like, seeing the outside world, seeing other types of Christians, other people in the world that follow the faith their own way, like, made me feel stronger in my belief that I should stick with it and, take a step as not as a child, but as a young adult, making my own decision to get baptized and to continue my journey that way.
Yeah, my own daughter, she didn't get baptized until late in the college. She joined the IB, it's called the Asian Christian Fellowship. I think that organization is so open-minded. They even let her run the group, even she's not a baptized Christian. I love it. Then after a few years, she really getting serious, then she get baptized. So I think this is good. Yeah, let them make their decision, don't rush them, and let everybody make their own choice.